Hey guys, today with the topic of relationship break. I hear that lately more and more often, and apparently many of you think that's a good idea and the way to prevent a breakup. This is in the same vein as the video. She says she needs time for herself, but here she already has a great idea how this should work. Or you are quite clever and suggest this before she can say that it is all too much for her and wants the separation. I'll spare myself the sarcasm and tell you directly why I think this is the worst idea you could have in this situation. Let's put ourselves in her shoes. How could she come to want a relationship break? What happened that she could get to this point? Well, either her attraction to you has waned so much that she doubts the relationship itself, or something is bothering her and she finds herself in a pressure situation that she can't solve herself like this. The desire to not want the man she has chosen as a partner around her is a huge problem. Both for her, because she also just wants to be happy and possibly doesn't know herself why she feels what she feels at the moment, and for you, because this news will unsettle you. So if she has said it, no matter if it started from her or you have put some more pressure because you have noticed that something is not right anymore, then there is no turning back. Then she accepts the fact that it is out now and that both you and she have to draw consequences. In which direction she is thinking is irrelevant. Whether she wants to work with you on it or not, she hasn't found a solution for it herself yet, because it was most likely about feelings on her part that have disappeared or are getting weaker and weaker, and she doesn't have full control over them. They are due to you and your behavior. Of course, exceptions prove the rule, and if you sit down and try to solve the problem, you can partly take the pressure out, relieve her, and see that in the meantime you pull yourself together again a bit and make yourself more attractive. However, this will be difficult because after such a conversation there will always be some sort of doubt associated with it, whether you are only doing this because you are afraid of losing her. In extreme cases, your head will shut down and you'll feel like you're spinning in circles thinking Omi and Gumingat because you think you'll lose her if you don't do something now. Neediness and neediness are the quickest ways to get rid of the woman then. By putting her above everything and confirming to her that you can work as hard as you want, but it won't trigger any more feelings in her, or you'll crush her with your love, which triggers nothing in her. But what if love does trigger something? No. Don't even think about it, that's not how attraction works. Attraction will only come again when she sees you at eye level. When you improve in market value again, instead of staying the same or even declining by no longer being the one whose potential she initially saw. This is where the relationship break comes in, which is supposed to be the solution. You give her time and space to get back together after a discussed or sometimes stupidly undefined period of time and continue at the point of the relationship. You think you are working on yourselves in the meantime, or you just think time will sort it out by itself, since she has what she wants and can think about it in peace. The former would be a good approach, because you would finally have time to concentrate on yourselves and to really step on the gas in all areas of your life that have been neglected lately. But while you are doing what you want to do during the break, we switch back to the ex. Sorry to say, the new partner. She had pressure or too little attraction to you to always want to have you around. Now you give her distance. What is the first thing she will feel? Relief. Almost as strong as after a breakup with the same symptoms. The pressure is off and she can express herself. If she is still somewhat loyal to you, she might really just be thinking during that time, but the result is almost the same. She now has her peace of mind and you guys at her back. As soon as she blows the whistle, you jump back to her side, which means there is no danger that she could suddenly find herself alone, and it is precisely from this position that she now experiences how everything negative that she has gone through and felt with you lately falls away from her. What do you think will be the result of that? That she'll want to jump back into the same relationship she left after finally being able to sleep soundly? Surely not. She would either want you to adjust afterwards, since she now has a plan of how nice it can be when you're not around, or she's equally extreme, which is the more likely option, and breaks up afterwards. What you also have to remember is that women are hypergamous. She has no attraction to you anymore. No or too little feelings to imagine a future, and this even came up with you guys? She was already that far in her despair? The next logical step is for her to look around the dating market and check out her market value. External attention is always the first way to go, after a long relationship in which you don't see the need to work on yourself, but blame the other person or the relationship itself. It prevents one from feeling bad and having to go the hard way of self-reflection and personality development. And so, before the break, they may already be laughing at someone who they can then get to know better in the meantime, or they may be taking their first steps in this world since the beginning of your relationship, completely detached from you. Both of these things feel like an exciting new phase in their lives, and do you think they'll take it easy on you if they suddenly find themselves wearing rose-colored glasses again with someone who gives them everything you neglected or took for granted in your everyday relationship? Again, definitely not. At some point she says it of her own accord or keeps delaying it because she doesn't dare to take this step, and then she asks you the question of all questions: how does it look? Did you have time to think about it? Do you want to continue? If the answer is yes, from now on she will pay attention to every little thing that she thinks you are doing wrong and whose absence she enjoyed so much during the break. If the answer is no, you feel screwed and dropped, because you gave her everything she wanted. In the worst case, the new one is right on your doorstep and there's nothing you can do about it. Her value is driven through the roof for you, and depending on how strong your bond still is to her, you will constantly experience everything from anger to sadness again, which pulls you down little by little. It will be hard not to give in to the neediness and not to want to throw all this at her head, because you had such good intentions. Always remember the rule of thumb: the behavior is the message. What does it tell you when they have so little interest that they not only don't want you around, but even suggest a break in the relationship? It should set off alarm bells in you and show you that you urgently need to take action towards attraction. I will briefly repeat how attraction can be increased. In the same way that I just applied to you. Break up. Really honestly say, if instead of working on this you'd rather run away and have your freedom, you're welcome to it. And bye. This may result in the breakup staying final and her not getting back to you. But if that's the case, it would have come to that anyway due to the break in the relationship. What is also not unlikely is that you are showing her that you are not dependent on her and can shift your priorities to you. That you, as a man, have no need for a woman who cannot see your value and will not continue to waste your time on her. That is a strong position you are walking in. You will hardly have the chance to get to that one if you leave her in charge. And she will realize how real it is without you. She no longer has that safety net that lets you come back after a certain time. She would have to work for that now. She is all alone, and that gives her the chance to find the feelings for you again and build on them. The missing factor does play a part in this, but it would be there either way without someone else. Above all, that she didn't have to put the hurdles of a breakup in her own way and get herself to do it, so that you can't crack her and get her to come back after the breakup itself. That's what you're accomplishing. She didn't put up any resistance because she thought she was in control of the situation, and then when she realizes that she does miss you more and you just aren't there anymore, she will most likely fight for it. By the way, you should only use this breaking up to achieve what you want and to make her really reconsider in the worst case. If possible, only once per woman. Because every time you take her back after the first time, her respect for you decreases, or at some point she just doesn't take you seriously anymore. And women are not stupid, they recognize a pattern and then think that this is your way. If you use this then in the assumption that it's really over and you don't want to hurt her with it to get what you want, but as a last chance to restore the attraction again, and this time hopefully use your knowledge about it in such a way that you achieve a win-win within the relationship. But have in mind that from the time they bring up the issue, the relationship as such is actually over, and you can only rely on the bond you have with each other and the standpoint you take after the breakup. The point of view of the serious man who is enough for himself and whom she can gladly continue to accompany on his journey, if she is willing to give as much for it as he is. Take care, and until the next video.